Shortly after the conclusion of the 120 laps of Dwyer, it was announced that John Smith, who was relieving Hawk Slider, was killed in his accident with Megan Gallagher. However, coming into this weekend, news broke that it was all a hoax perpetuated by Hawk Slider, who was using John Smith as a decoy so he could run the full race. And when Slider crashed, he allegedly paid the safety crew to get him off the track before the officials could get to him. Needless to say, everyone in the garage was furious with Slider, and so were the officials. They promptly banned him for life. However, Hawk Slider is apparently pursuing legal action against ARLA. In other news, Toby Armstrong, who drives the number 54 Team Burr car, finished 15th in the qualifier, the last transfer position. However, he was disqualified after caught tampering with his own car. It was soon discovered that over the past few weeks, the Team Burr crew has been sabotaging their own cars so they would break down on the grid and have legitimate reasons for parking and collecting last place money. There is currently no word on what penalties will be levied against Team Burr, but since this isn't the first time the team has circumvented the officials' rulings on start and park teams, I imagine they will be pretty big. And now, on to the race. Appropriately enough, round 13 of the 2010 ARLA Elite Series season was held at the treacherous Grand Detour Raceway in Quincy, Illinois. The pole winner was the number 159 car of Harry Inola with his Riggs Motorsports teammate Allie Riggs on his outside. However, Riggs was quickly passed by Packer Carroll for the second spot. Here is Bruce Wilkinson making his first Elite Series start in his first attempt. The TM Junior and ARLA Street Stocks driver is running the part-time number 7 car for Gravity Racing Inc. And as he saw, the first caution flew in lap 2. Coming off of turn 2, you're going to see the 37 of Siju Zhao just pinches Andy Pearson over into the 31 of Ricky Flush, sending Flush into the wall, and he ends up getting stuck on the guardrail. Tough break for Flush. He finished second last week at Dwyer, but he's not going to be able to repeat that performance today. Also, James West and Todd Stater get together and carry each other into the pits, and just like Flush, Stater gets stuck on the wall. All three cars would keep going, but they would be well off the pace. Harry Inola leads on the restart, but Packer Carroll does not get such a great start, and here comes Allie Riggs in the 19 to take advantage. And coming off of turn 2, Riggs is able to clear Carroll and take second back. Caution 2 flew in lap 15. Scott Morales gets turned around by Kurt Walker coming off of turn 2, and he goes sliding into the pit wall. This is Morales' second DNF in a row. He crashed at Dwyer while battling for the lead with Todd Stater. He's trying to stay up in the top 10 in points, but this isn't exactly helping his cause. While under yellow, Benji Flynn relinquishes the 4th spot to pit for a slight mechanical problem. Harry Inola leads on the restart once again with Allie Riggs in 2nd, Packer Carroll in 3rd, Leslie Riggs moves up into 4th. Amy Harrison in the 102 rounds out the top 5. She made her ARLA debut in the Thunder Trucks last season when she filled in for her injured brother Joey. She arguably did a much better job in that ride, and this season they are both on the same team, where once again Amy is doing much better than Joey. She is locked safely into the top 27, while Joey is struggling to qualify for races. Another driver having a good run today is Reed Weber Jr. in the 165. He's struggled to qualify for several races recently, but today he's running solidly in the top 15. Here is Allie Riggs trying to get by her teammate Harry Inola for the lead, but she can't quite complete the pass. She loses her momentum coming off of turn 4 and is passed for second by Packer Carroll. Inola eventually built up a pretty big lead, but he encountered some lap traffic and lost it all. That is the 164 of Chris Johans that Inola is trying to put a lap down. Leslie Riggs has taken second from her sister Allie and is now working on the 159 for the lead. However, she loses all of her momentum coming up off the corner. She tries again in turn 3, but it's really hard to pass people on the inside over there. But Riggs was eventually able to get a really good run on Inola, and there she goes, finally taking the lead. Caution 3 flew in lap 73. Joseph Howard gets into his teammate, Siju Zhao. They collect Benji Flynn and slide back up the track. Joel Rodriguez gets involved. And here come the leaders piling in. Leslie Riggs runs into the 37. Now we're looking from behind the 50. She hits the 37. And there's Harry Inola. He clips the 37. Allie Riggs is involved. Ricky Navarro, Jason Bates. I think Packer Carroll got a piece of that. A very frustrating twist for Riggs Motorsports. They occupy the first 3 spots, and those 3 cars are all going to go out of the race. Taylor Brillon in the 65 inherits the lead with Bruce Wilkinson in second, but Brillon leads them all down pit road, and she would remain in the lead on the restart. All 5 cars in front of her, Benji Flynn, Chris Johans, Dale Underwood, Bixby Foot, and Ricky Flush, are off the lead lap. Here is Brillon's teammate, Bobby Porteau, in the 64, who has already won 2 short track races this season. He gets by Bruce Wilkinson for the second spot. Right behind Porteau, you see Amy Harrison in the 102 going for third, but Bruce Wilkinson is not about to give up another position, and he keeps her at bay. Ricky Navarro and Jason Bates got some damage in that last wreck. We're looking at Navarro's 34, and Jason Bates is right behind him in the high line. However, they seem to have only suffered cosmetic damage, and at tracks like these, aerodynamics are not very important, so they're able to stay on the pace. There is Henrietta Laverne III in the 00 going a lap down. Here's a better view of Laverne. She has not had much luck in her rookie season. She failed to qualify for several races, and her sponsor, Meltdown Antifreeze, left her. Laverne is reportedly going to be out of that 00 car for 2011, with Anthony Griffith stepping in. Griffith currently drives the number 211 car, which is also a lap down right now. Caution 4, flew in lap 84. Alex Carson in 28 pinches Joseph Howard into the 01 of Lucas Hunter, sending the 01 spinning, and the 17 into the inside wall and bouncing back across the track. Howard would drop out of the race. Joel Rodriguez got a little piece of this incident, and he just clips the 17, but that's enough to damage his engine to the point of smoking. But amazingly, the 56 crew would be able to fix that damage and send him back onto the track under that yellow. We saw something similar in the ARLA Thunder Trucks race in Iowa a few weeks ago, where Cody Richards' engine was smoking after he received damage, but his crew was able to fix that car. Rodriguez's crew certainly deserves a big raise after this. Taylor Brillon leads on the restart with Bobby Porteau in second, Bruce Wilkinson third, Amy Harrison fourth, and Wilkinson's car owner, Patrick Carroll, rounding out the top 5. Ricky Flush in the 31 is still a couple laps down. A few laps later, there goes Bobby Porteau for the lead, and whenever he's done that this season, he's usually been able to drive away from everybody. But today, he doesn't seem to have a good enough car to do that, so Brillon sweeps back around him. And in front of the leaders, you see Joel Rodriguez, who is off the pace, but his car is still holding up quite nicely. Caution 5 flew on lap 109. Here comes Shane Lake with a bit of an aggressive move coming off of turn 4. He gets into Lake Grill, taking Jared Anderson with him down into turn 1. All 3 cars would keep going. Taylor Brillon continues to lead on the restart. Cody Richards, running a couple laps down, started second in line, preventing Bobby Porteau from putting pressure on Brillon right out of the gate. Patrick Carroll and Amy Harrison get trapped behind the 69 car of James West. This allows the top 3, Brillon, Porteau, and Wilkinson, to get away, but a prompt caution brought them all back together. 4Y doesn't work very well, and Anthony Griffith, Jeb Klinger, Kevin Monroe, and Blake Grell find out the hard way. Jared Anderson in the 10 goes for a wild ride down the turn 1 banking. Anderson clips the 211 car and then gets up into the wall, doing several barrel rolls. He gets up into the wall and flips that car over about 5 times. He almost lands it on his wheels, but then he hits the apron and it ends up on its roof. That made it rather hard to get Anderson out of the car, but he was okay. Taylor Brillon continues to lead on the restart. This time she gets a pretty big jump over Bobby Porteau. The officials handed her a warning for that. Bruce Wilkinson in the 7 continues his stellar performance today, running up in the 3rd spot, but now he's facing some pressure from his team owner, Patrick Carroll. Here is Carroll in the 71, who has not had a lot of luck in this series lately. A good run like this is exactly what Carroll needs, and what makes it better is that one of his other cars is running right up there with him. Caution 7, the final caution of the day, flew in lap 126. Eric Jackson in 3 gets into Kevin Monroe coming off turn 4, taking Lake Grill into the inside wall with them. All 3 cars would keep going. Here is the restart with less than 20 laps to go. Taylor Brillon continues to lead, but this time she doesn't get a big jump over Bobby Porteau. It's come down to a battle between M&J Racing and Gravity Racing Inc. They both have 2 cars up in the top 5. And rounding out the top 5 is Amy Harrison in the 102. She's hung up there all day, and now she sits there waiting to capitalize if any of the leaders make a mistake. Harrison is probably one of the more underrated drivers out there and is probably due for a win soon, at least in this commentator's opinion. Packer Carroll gets around Bruce Wilkinson for the third spot in the closing laps of the race. The 7 probably let him go rather than risk wrecking the team boss. But that was about the extent of the action in the final laps. Taylor Brillon goes on to take her second career victory at the very same track where she got her first win 1 season ago. This is also M&J's third victory in a row and 5th overall. Bobby Porto would hang on to finish second. Packer Carroll runs third. Amy Harrison got by Bruce Wilkinson for the 4th spot. Yafali Anamija has a very quiet run to finish 6th after all of his bad luck recently. Jason Bates gets another top 10. He finished 7th. DJ Daniels in 8th. Very nice run for Daniels. He failed to qualify for several races this season after finishing runner-up in last season's point standings. Andy Pearson finished 9th, and Shane Lake, despite that spin, rounds out the top 10. And now for the top 10 in points. Andy Pearson continues to hang on to the lead with Jason Bates 50 points back. The M&J drivers Bobby Porto, Kevin Monroe, and Brenda Riggs run 3rd through 5th. Ricky Navarro sits in 6th in his comeback season. Packer Carroll moves up to 7th, Alex Carson 8th, Kurt Walker 9th, and then Amy Harrison breaks into the top 10, taking over the lead in the Rookie of the Year points battle as well.